Hello, this is Dr. Mike McKinney. I'm president of Promise Christian University, and welcome to the Promise Channel here in Southern California. We're very happy today to welcome all of our viewing audience. We have some special guests in the studio today, Dudley and Raven Goff. And welcome to the program here today, both of you. They're dear friends of ours for many, many, many years. And Dudley and Raven are president of the Israel Food Outreach, and I'm going to let them tell you about the program. And that they just returned, or he did just return from Israel after 7 weeks, Dudley. 7 weeks, my goodness, and did a lot of things. So we're going to talk about that today. Dudley, welcome to the show, and tell us how all this got started with Israel Food Outreach.
God laid on my heart his command as a Gentile for me to bless Israel. I'm not Jewish. I'm a Gentile. And he says, you bless Israel, I will bless you. But how do you go about it? Beginning to bless Israel by supplying the needy in Israel with soup mix. So these huge 40-foot containers of dried soup mix being shipped from Southern California, from Gleanings for the Hungry, where we get the soup mix, shipped from there to Israel to be distributed by over 60 organizations there that have an outreach for needy people, for poor people. And these are street people, they're shut-ins, they're orphans, and Holocaust survivors.
I was going to ask you about that. Some of them are survivors from the...
Very definitely, yes. And in the early years, it was just the soup mix. But because of my age, I'm 85 years old, and I'm working with these Holocaust survivors, and I find that I'm their same age. I'm from their generation.
I see.
And they're receiving the soup mix, and I felt like we needed to do something more for them than just the soup mix. You take down the soup and it's gone, you know.
Sure.
But if there's something else, well, there's where the Israel Food Outreach quilt ministry came into being.
Well, tell us about that as well, how that happened.
Well, that was about 3 years ago, maybe it's almost 4 years now. The first quilts were made, and they're made by Christians here in the States who really love Israel. It originated with Gleanings for the Hungry again out of their quilt shop, but then they couldn't make nearly enough quilts. So then various churches and synagogues are making the quilts that are piggybacked on top of the soup mix in these containers going to Israel.
Oh my!
So it's a real blessing, and it's and part of the blessing of it is this, that the containers cost about $12,000 each to get them to Israel. We need financing to take care of this, you know, and so people make donations. But Mike, a lot of people don't have any money, but they still want to bless Israel.
Sure.
But they have time, particularly older people.
Yeah.
So here's where we're appealing to them to say, you don't have the money to bless Israel, but you have the time. What do you think of you and others like-minded that want to bless Israel, coming together on a weekly, twice a month basis and make quilts?
Oh, I think that's a wonderful idea.
Make quilts for Holocaust survivors. So a lot of people are doing it on this basis. So this particular lady, she has no money to contribute, but she has the time. She said, I'm going to bless Israel with the time. And it's unbelievable the enthusiasm that is there with so many.
What is the reaction when the folks get these?
Unbelievable. We'll share a couple of that with you. But Raven can give you her perspective as all this comes into being, because I couldn't do this by myself. Maybe it's an assignment God gave me initially, but there's no way you can go on your own. And Raven has been as passionate about Israel Food Outreach as I have been from the very beginning. And we needed help, for that matter. It's not just she and I doing all of this.
No, but
Younger people
Others
are
are
coming
helping
into
out.
it, you know, it's just been great.
wonderful.
But she can give a perspective
Yeah,
on it.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Raven, give
Yes.
us your feelings about all this, this great thing that you guys are doing in your young years here, you know.
Well, it started, Dudley and I have been married 10 years, June 30th of this year.
Okay.
I was never going to marry again,
Okay.
and I quit a career in order to marry and couldn't understand what I was doing. And, but we don't need to understand what we're doing because God does.
Yes,
He's
he
the one
does.
that,
That's
if we
very
listen, He's the one that, even when we don't listen, sometimes He pushes, you know?
Yeah, of
And
course.
and He creates the circumstances in which all of this is birthed.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I just kept on moving. I kept putting one foot in front of the other and
Sure.
going through this. And I've always wondered, all my life I have wondered if I have Jewish blood.
Mhm.
And I think most of my generation do.
Sure.
Because there's so much, they're so in the open today. I mean,
Yes.
we're Israel in the face all the time
Oh,
today.
yes, of course.
I didn't know anything about the prophetic angle on
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Right.
Dudley did. When
There's a prophetic
God
aspect on all
Yes,
this.
when Dudley
Yeah.
when God brought us together,
Yes.
I needed scripture. I was raised a Catholic and I was forbidden to read the Bible. Dudley was raised a Seventh-day Adventist. He was weaned on the Bible, so he
Okay.
brought the word to me and I brought a lighter life to him.
Yeah. Well,
You
he
know.
seems very happy, you know.
Well, we both are.
Yeah.
And most of the reason that we're happy is because we're doing what God wants us to do.
Would you have ever believed that this time in your life that God would have you begin
Yeah.
an international ministry?
No, I did.
Can you imagine such a thing?
No, I could never imagine it. I knew that I wanted to create because I'm a writer.
Sure.
But I didn't know what. I thought it was just going to be about my own life, my memoir, you
Yeah.
know, because I've done so many things.
Well, when I first met you, I thought you'd been a movie actress, actually.
Well,
I really
an
thought
actress,
that.
yes, but
Well,
not movies.
yeah.
No, just,
Yeah.
no, it came, Dudley brought it to me and it just kind of moved through me. You
Oh,
know
yes.
how that happens.
Oh,
It
yeah.
moves, God moves us together.
Moves in mysterious ways. That's
Yeah, and when I found out, Dudley took me with him in 2010, our first year in October, to Israel, and it's the only place I haven't been that I'd always wanted to be.
okay.
And I found out on that trip that I in fact have Jewish blood
Oh, wonderful.
on my mother's side, which is the side you must have Jewish
That's
blood
the-
on.
Yeah,
And
right.
it was my mother's mother.
Oh, wonderful.
And she was a Sephardic Jew. Her people were from northern Israel.
Yeah.
And of course, I had the DNA done, and I also got it on my European
Yeah,
side and my
sure.
father's side as well. So we never know where all this
No.
stuff comes
We
from.
don't always know.
When Dudley started moving into this
Mhm.
more fully, and it got bigger, I found myself right beside him moving at the same time, and that blew me
Wonderful.
away. And I was able to take what he does and create something
That's
on the
right.
computer,
That's great.
because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then I saw and I get very emotional because I see the Holocaust survivors
Yeah.
in his films being embraced with a quilt covering them,
Oh, that's beautiful.
and they weep.
Yeah.
They don't know that people love them. They don't think anybody cares.
Or remembers even.
Yes.
Well, this was quite manifest when
Yeah.
we started working with the Holocaust survivors, with the soup mix and so forth. And there's where then the idea of the quilts
Sure.
came into being. And so since then, I put a lot of concentration on that. And this last trip, 2 weeks ago when I got back, was there 7 weeks,
Sure.
we gave away 1,000 quilts to 1,000 Holocaust survivors in different venues. And so we filmed all this.
Right.
The first short clip I'd like to show you
Yeah, let's do that.
is of our giving some quilts to Holocaust survivors. In this case, it's out on the street. In other case, other situation,
But
but
why don't we take a look at that right now?
there are many in America, in California, where I'm from,
Есть много людей в Америке, в Калифорнии, откуда я,
that love you and support you,
что любят вас и поддерживают вас.
and they want to bless Israel. And when I talk to individuals who love Israel in the States,
И когда я говорю с людьми в Америке, которые любят Израиль,
and tell them that I'm going to be here with you, they are very excited about it. God has put on my heart to bless Israel.
благословит Израиль.
I'm not a Jew.
Я не еврей,
I'm a Gentile. But the Bible tells me in the Torah to bless Israel. I, as a Gentile, then have to bless Israel.
хотя я не еврей, я хочу благословить еврейского народа.
I particularly like to do so with the Holocaust survivors. You know why?
Почему?
I'm one of you. I'm of your generation.
Поколение. Я родился в то
I'm
же время.
85 years old.
Сейчас мне 85 лет.
So you guys, you're my brothers, my sisters. Well, I was born and raised in America,
Я вырос в Америке.
and when I was 13, 11, 12, 13 years old in America,
Время войны в Америке. Мне был
my family was saved. But you, when you were 11, 12, 13 years
No,
old, you were in places that weren't safe.
мы находились
Not
в
safe
тех
for your
местах.
family. And many of you lost your family. And I feel bad for that. But I give my family to you.
Но я хочу, чтобы мы сейчас были
You
одни, как
become my
одна
family.
семья.
And in every way we can bless you with the soup mix,
Вот этот
with the quilt.
крупа на суп.
We want to do so.
И мы показываем вам любовь через это.
So God bless all of you.
Пусть Господь благословит каждого из вас.
Love you.
Мы любим вас.
And we honor you.
И мы уважаем вас.
Thank you.
Спасибо.
Well, that's a marvelous interview, Dudley. You can feel the emotion coming through that video as we see the reaction of of not only the presentation of the quilt, but why you're presenting it. And I think they realized your love for them. And like you said, Raven, it brought a realization to them that there were people in other parts of the world who do care.
Who
Yeah.
care, deeply
Yeah.
care. When that quilt, and there are several miles of film that
Oh,
he's
yeah,
filmed,
yeah.
that of them wrapping a quilt around an individual, and the tears start, the crying starts
Sure.
on both sides. It's extremely emotional. They can't believe how much people care. I
Right.
mean, they can't. You mean you really love us? You mean you really care?
Yeah.
I want to show you the most poignant example of that,
Okay.
which was done at the Fountain of Tears.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, my.
And the Fountain of Tears was this sculpture in Canada, in Arad, Israel. Did some sculpturing of various figures, life-size, of Holocaust
Oh,
victims.
my.
And then he's equated that with the crucifixion of Christ. And it's really phenomenal. So we took two different groups, two different busloads of 50 apiece, down to the Fountain of Tears. And so part of that, one of them I want to show you. I'll show you two of them for that matter, but the one that Werner Paul was involved in was a German.
Ah.
He takes the occasion then, when talking to the Holocaust survivors, to say that he was born in Germany, raised in Germany. It was his people that did to them what was done to them, and he is apologizing to them for this.
All right.
It's a powerful message.
Must have been a very powerful
Oh,
moment.
really powerful. And one of the highlights, the highlight of the whole 7 weeks there,
Yeah.
is this. I want to show you that was an event that took place as they're giving out the quilts.
The love of God will surround you like the quilt surrounds you now. May you feel and sense His presence in the days and years to come. Shalom. 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 Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this man. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this man, this brother, God. Thank you, Lord, for this brother. Bless him, Lord Jesus. Bless him, Lord Jesus. Bless him, Lord Jesus.
I mean, poignant.
It's a great moment, isn't
Yeah,
it?
a great moment.
Yeah. Brought healing and, oh my, the Lord is gracious. And what I think that's wonderful that would happen like that. And who was the young man that was presenting the quilt? That young man that was helping them and praying for them?
That's Don Patton.
Okay.
And he and his wife are missionaries. They're from Calvary Chapel.
Okay.
And they were 7 years in the Ukraine, so they learned Russian there. They were over here in Nigeria.
Wow, they're real missionaries. Yeah.
They've been in Israel much of the time, so they speak Hebrew. She is from Puerto Rico, so they speak Spanish, Russian, Hebrew, English.
Wow.
So and they're just fantastic with everybody. And last year, they had to leave Israel after 2 years for it had to be away a year. Where did they go? Not home.
Mm.
They went to China.
Oh my goodness.
And they founded a church in China. And from this church has been generated some real interest on the part of Chinese in that area in Israel, to the point that they are wanting to finance it somewhat too. So they sent him $2,000 that he is buying canes and walkers for Holocaust survivors.
Wow.
So we were giving some of those things out at the same time as we were the quilts. Now this is at the Fountain of Tears. I could have wrapped a quilt
Я мог дать им тепло
around the shoulders
на плечи
of someone you loved.
одного человека,
It was a part of your family.
вы любили, член вашей семьи.
I couldn't do that,
Я это не мог сделать.
but I can wrap the quilt around one of you.
Но я мог сейчас это совершить.
And I would like to, the gentleman with the cane there, with the glasses. God bless you.
Чтобы Бог благословил вас.
You're my brother.
Вы мой брат.
You all are my brothers and sisters.
Я чувствую, что вы мои братья и сестры.
And I love you so much.
Я люблю вас.
I feel I'm one of you.
Я чувствую, я один с вами.
And we not only have a quilt for you, we have one for every one of you here
И у
today.
нас отдела ручная работа не только для вас, но для каждого из вас.
For you. God bless you.
Кредит как память о вашем добром
And the gifts that you give us will receive as in memory for a long time of your kindness towards us.
Ибо, как говорил Иисус, мы все братья.
And like Jesus said, we're all brothers.
So neat. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, I think you can see the moment that and they were so receptive to the love of the Lord. And it's actually the Lord Jesus Christ who's really touching them. And I think it's wonderful. And they sense something different, something
And
unusual.
yes, and they're not used to
No.
Jesus, Yeshua,
Mhm.
because they're all Orthodox, you know, they're all
Yeah, they're
from way
tradition-
back.
they're traditional, yeah. Yeah.
And so it's a real.
As the Lord is using not only the quilts and the soup mix and the assurance of love from America, but it's also showing them the love of the Lord Jesus Christ, something they had not understood. And through Jesus, they're being healed from these terrible ordeals of the history of the past during the Holocaust, that the Lord does care for them and they are being healed at this point.
It's
And
something for
wonderful.
them to see the contrast, the similarities
I can see
between what
the
they went
significance.
through and the
And
crucifixion.
the crucifixion, what the Lord went through.
Unbelievable. And
It's
the
wonderful,
reaction has
yeah.
not been a negative, it's
No, I
been
see these
a
people cry
positive.
and open and just ready to receive.
This is
this
right.
love.
Yeah.
Like I've heard one person say, I feel like this Jesus is in my heart.
He is,
Yeah.
he is there, he is there.
And one thing the sculptor does
Yeah.
point out, he says, you notice, you see crucifixion,
Yeah.
6 panels of crucifixion, but he says you don't see a cross.
That's right.
A cross is the most negative symbol to the Jewish people.
Of course.
So you see Christ's hands out there and his facial expressions and 6 different poses and all,
Right,
but you don't see the cross.
right.
And someone makes the statement then, Jesus had been here during the Holocaust, he would have been crucified
Oh, yeah.
or slaughtered in the Holocaust
He
just
would,
like they were,
yes.
you know.
Of course he would.
And after the first group busload
Yeah,
to the Fountain of Tears there, afterwards, his wife, Marta, she said to me, she said, Dudley, what a way to introduce the gospel
Absolutely.
to Holocaust survivors. She
Yes.
said, we've got to do this more often.
yeah,
And the sculptor and his wife were there, and they had not had this experience before.
wow.
They used to tourists coming through and all,
Mhm.
and they were just blown away. The second
Oh.
busload, they wouldn't take any money for it. Another short clip that I would
Yes.
like to show you is relative to the soup mix.
All right,
And the soup mix goes to some real poor people, and in this case, these are poor people up at Shafarvim, which is not too far from the Lebanese border. And this pastor is an Arab Christian,
oh my goodness.
and he works with 217 families in need. And this particular one that he took me out to give them some soup mix. It's a dirt floor.
Oh my.
He's given them a
Yes.
couple of rugs, carpets, you know,
Yeah,
just
sure.
laid on it and everything,
Sure.
but really poor.
Oh,
But you'll see at least part of this.
sure.
كل كوباية قليلها تقبلها كوباية مي أو أنتوا نفان الله يعني بتدبروا حالكم
هذا من بلادهم يعني جايبينه.
Now she can read the Hebrew?
Yeah, she can cook and eat, right?
Yes, yeah. But mix other things with it.
If she have
Yeah, but spices she'll have some spices.
خضرة يركوت أو لحمة أو بهارات.
Add some potatoes.
مش نسيكي أنا. بجيب لك ما تخافي علي.
شنو تجيب لك؟
أعطيني الطير. بس أجا عندي وقال لي هات نروح قلت له يلا. She's so happy, thank you. She read Hebrew.
They're Christians,
Yes.
and the lady there in the color, she's a widow, 3 children, and just very, very poor.
Oh,
She went outside to pick some stuff to bring in to put in hot water to make for our tea.
oh, for him.
I don't know what all it was, but
Yeah.
probably some kind of herbs or something.
Something
you know.
like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
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 But I think, you know, you guys are doing such a great job. Imagine at 85 and then this young lady here taking on an international ministry that reaches Israel. And it's just fantastic. And for our viewing audience here today, I know that you're touched as much as I am in the studio of what we have seen and heard today about the work that Israel Food Outreach is doing in Israel, bringing tons of soup mix and quilts and all that by ship. The ships go, many sell, I'll ask Dudley in a moment how many ships go each year. But I want you to know something, that this coming August, during our graduation at Promise Christian University, our board of directors got together to decide who would be the recipient of our highest award, which would be the Doctor of Humane Letters, for someone that has done something very significant on the field in the work of God.